Welcome back, race fans, to Off the Track Podcast, where you get the dirt. I'm Levi Ray Godsey, and we are here at Blue Chip Technologies Racing Engines. We are a high-performance race engine shop located right here in Heltonville, Indiana. And today we have joining us on the show my grandparents, Sue and Ray Godsey.
Good to be here.
Hi, Levi.
Hello. I'm very thankful that you guys took the time out of your evening to come over and sit down and talk about your career in the dirt racing. And I know I had asked you about coming out here a couple times and doing it, and I guess the third time was a charm.
Yeah.
We found out Saturday. I talked to you at the end of last week, and then you came out Saturday, and
Yeah.
we went through all your old photos, and that was a trip down memory lane. I know you really made a name for yourself racing over the years. A lot of people remember you really well from the 70s and 80s and so on, but getting your start behind the wheel of a dirt car back in 63.
63.
So let's hear the story on how that come about.
Well, I went to Bloomington Speedway one night, and they said something about what you could do to start racing, and I always liked to drive, so.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a 51 Ford passenger car, so I went home and took all the windows out of it,
Mm-hmm.
put a roll cage in it, and it was a family car. So first time we raced was Mitchell, Indiana. Dick Gaines, I got there early, as usual.
Mm-hmm.
Always like to get early.
You get everywhere early.
I do. Anyway, Dick was grading the racetrack. I didn't know Dick Gaines. He didn't know me.
Right.
I mean,
First time you guys ever met.
first time we ever met. So I stopped him. I said, would it be okay? I told him, I said, I've never drove on a dirt track.
Right.
So he said, well, yeah, it'd be okay. He said, just don't run over my road grader.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to hit no road grader, so every lap I was getting a little braver. And down in 1 and 2, they had a dirt bank. It was real banked.
Uh-huh.
But it wasn't a guardrail, it was a dirt. So I got in there a little bit too hard and got the right rear end of the bank, and it turned right and went straight up the bank, and of course it turned over coming down.
Yeah.
So Dick stops and he said, well, you got her qualified, now you can race tonight. Didn't hurt the car.
Right.
Didn't bother me.
Just rolled the car back over.
Just rolled it back, and then, boy, she smoked.
Yeah, I
Got
bet.
a little oil run to the top. I think Sue panicked a little bit.
Yeah. Now, Mama, were you there for that?
No,
Okay.
I was at my grandmother's with the kids.
Okay.
He come home and said, well, he said, I qualified. I said, what? He said, I rolled a car.
So that was the family car.
That was the family car.
So
Of course, I had to buy another family car.
yeah, exactly.
Probably better than the one I made the race car out of.
Right. So at that point, was Mitchell the first track that you actually raced on after that experience,
Yeah.
as far as
Yeah,
practicing?
I raced that night.
You raced that same night.
It was race night when I did it, but
Okay.
I was just early.
Yeah.
Yeah, I raced that night.
So you just stayed there after you turned the car over?
Oh, yeah.
Stayed there all day and.
Well, this was in the evening,
Okay.
so maybe 3 o'clock or something like that. They started racing at 6. So
Yeah.
yeah. And my brother was there.
Yep.
So
Harold Godsey.
Harold Godsey, he decided that I think maybe I decided he needed to try this car out.
Yeah.
See, so we did pretty good. The first night he was in it, same day,
Yeah.
he rented in the pond. They got a pond in the middle of the racetrack.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what he was doing, but then we had to pull it out of the pond and drain all the oil and rear end grease and stuff out of it.
So
We
Mr. Gaines got his entertainment out of the Godseys that evening for
he
sure.
probably thought, where are these guys from?
Right. Well, that's interesting. So you went ahead and ran it that night. Well, how was your first night running against other guys? Was
Well,
it?
I was in the back.
Yeah, you was learning.
I probably got lapped,
Yeah.
but I was learning.
Do you remember any of the other drivers' names that were in that time frame?
The one of the guys that was racing is the guy that owns the car that Kinzer drives.
Yeah.
Jordan.
Okay.
What's the?
Put me on the spot. Hurst? Is it
yeah,
Hurst Brothers?
yeah. Dave Hurst.
Okay.
Dave Hurst he was there. He remembers me being there. He
Yeah.
remembers now.
Okay.
He's a couple years older than me.
So he was actually racing.
He was racing. He had an
Yeah.
old coupe,
Yeah.
but they run them all together.
All right.
They didn't have
They
They didn't have a class. You got a car, you raced.
You brought what you had and
Yeah.
you competed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
He's the only one I remember other than Dick Gaines, but he was running the sprint car.
right.
Yeah. So
You went from that night to running every weekend after you done it one time. You just like, I
Yeah.
got to do this.
and then we started racing at Bloomington.
Yeah.
And back then, how you got your starting position for the feature, you lined all the cars up side by side in the pit. And they'd wave the green flag, and whoever got to the front straightaway first started on the pole feature.
Really?
Yeah, I was pretty good at that.
Wow.
I was pretty good.
I did not.
Because I'd been drag racing before, see?
Uh-huh.
And I knew all about that drag racing, so.
Yeah.
I had to pole a few times. I never won, though.
Yeah.
But
That's funny.
I started in a good spot.
Yeah.
I was just learning.
So you guys ran Bloomington and Mitchell then for that first year, probably.
Bloomington and Mitchell mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably didn't venture over to Brownstown at that point.
No, I didn't.
First
I did. The first time I went to Brownstown was in '67.
67.
This is '63 when I started,
Yeah.
and '64
64, you got a new car.
Yeah.
Built a new
a
car.
'52 Chevy.
Now, was it a family car too?
No,
I was trying to figure this out. I didn't know how many
No,
times
it
you
wasn't.
took Mama's car and turned it into a
I've done it
race car.
before though. After that,
Yeah.
no, it wasn't a family car. It was I got it out of the junkyard. It was this '52 Chevy, and
Yeah.
I think it had a 235 in it, 6-cylinder.
Mm-hmm.
And that's-
Flathead straight six, probably.
It was overhead.
Yeah.
It was overhead.
Okay.
See, me and Sheldon Kinzer I started racing the same time he did, so we both had 52 Chevys.
Yeah.
That year he had number 35 and mine was 14.
So
I raced with Sheldon and
that brings up a good question. The number 14.
Yeah.
You got that because
got
you always
that.
liked AJ Foyt
A.J. Foy
Right.
and Bobby Kinzer.
and Bobby Kinzer.
Yeah.
And was that on your very first car as well? Was that
It was on my second car.
second car?
The first car was number 3
Number 3.
because I had 3 kids.
Okay.
So I put 3 on it.
Yeah.
Now I didn't have 14 kids the next year.
Right. Right.
I still had 3.
Okay. So you don't make it to Brownstown until 67.
67.
So that's 4 years after your first
I run
race.
North Vernon and Bloomington, Paragon, went to Paragon, raised at Paragon.
Mm-hmm.
But the first time was in '67. I had a '55 Chevy.
Yeah.
First time I ever won the feature. Wasn't supposed to do that.
Well,
you
that's
know.
nice.
Oh yeah, ain't very many people can say that.
No, there's not. Not then or now.
No, right. But I've been to I figured it up one time, 30 different racetracks and won the first time I was there. At 30 different.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I've not heard that.
Oh
wow.
yeah. I
That's-
mean, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Pennsylvania, Ohio, Illinois, wherever. you
Yeah.
know, wherever I went, I was lucky.
Yeah.
I was lucky.
Well, you
you know.
worked hard.
Yeah.
You-
Well, I wanted my car to be ready to race when I got to the track. I
Yeah.
didn't want to work on it when I got to the track. So,
Right.
but then later I had your dad, Tony, and David, and
Right.
Stephen come along.
You made a pit crew
I made a pit crew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Teresa even
with
helped.
some help.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was all her idea.
Yeah.
Oh,
You need somebody to help you work on the car. Okay.
Well, it's definitely nice to hear more of the beginning stages of the racing because I didn't come along until '83.
Yeah.
So in '83, when I'm born, you've already made a name for yourself. When I was a child.
Sort of.
So growing up with Ray Godsey as your grandfather, it's
I'd say you probably got spanked a couple times.
well, it was always something I was really proud of.
You was proud of getting whipped?
Well, yeah,
Ain't none of my kids ever told me that.
yeah. Well, I remember getting whipped a few times from you. I'm sure I deserved it. But no, it was, in the 80s, you had already started doing it as a career.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You ran in the 70s. I guess that's whenever you made that decision as far as your job. You was a mechanic.
Yeah.
And you had to make a decision.
That was in 81.
Okay, so
81.
81.
Wasn't it?
79.
79.
Yeah.
Okay, 79.
All right, late 70s.
Yeah.
You get to make the ultimatum. I'm either going to be a mechanic or I'm going to race.
Yeah. Well, I had what happened was I had this, going back to like 76, Bill Chapman, everybody knows Bill, built me a car.
Yep.
It was a nice car. I mean, of course, it had to have a Ford chassis, I put a Camaro body on it.
Yeah.
Me and Tony
Right.
and Junior probably helped.
Right.
So, and that car was hard to beat. I'd been running big blocks before, and a friend of mine, Buck Howell, had a small block, 306 or 302 or something like that. And he wanted a big block, so I traded him big block for a small block because I didn't want a big block. The car was light. It was like 2,400 pounds in 76. That was a light car. They got they got lighter later, but
Right.
in 76, that was a light car. And it was kind of hard to get outrun.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good car. And I don't remember how many features we won, but Bill built that, and I was really proud of that car.
Yeah. Well.
And Trent Nicholas' dad,
Yep.
Harry, lettered it. Stars and Stripes, put a number 14 on it with stars and stripes in the number.
Right.
And
he always done a phenomenal job with the hand lettering. Him and Trent. I mean, I know he passed that to Trent, and Trent
Trent was about
can
this
still
tall.
do it today.
Yeah.
And that's such an art. And them guys always done all your cars.
Yeah.
As far as I know,
They
they
did.
were the only
They-
ones that touched your cars.
Yeah.
And you always had good looking race cars. I mean, I know from the time I was a child, they always looked really sharp.
Yeah.
And
I tried to keep them clean, and because I figured a clean car would be a fast car.
yeah,
And I'd wash them in between heat and feature.
is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd take a 5-gallon bucket
Uh-huh.
of water and soap.
Yeah. Well, I remember doing that with you whenever I was a kid
Yeah.
at Brownstown. Even
Yeah.
we'd wash the car, you
Yeah.
know, after the heat race,
Yeah.
and I remember being there for 2-day shows, and we would go down by the concession stands and
Yeah.
wash them down there. They'd
That-
let us use the hose.
Yeah.
But so now it's 81. You make the decision. Hey, I'm going to race full time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And-
I worked at Rolls Chevrolet, and before that, in the 70s, I worked in Indianapolis at a Lincoln Mercury dealership, and I made good money, but I didn't like to live in Indianapolis, so I wanted to move back home.
Yeah.
So we moved back down here in 74,
Okay.
and it was 74, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Stephen was born in 75,
Mm-hmm.
and then we moved over on Lincoln Avenue
Yeah.
and built a garage out and back.
Right.
Tony used it for body shop later, but that's where we worked on race cars. Now it's like 83.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Now I'm born.
Yeah, you're born. Here's Levi.
Yeah.
Josiah, I got to wish Josiah a happy birthday.
Is it today?
He'll be 41 Wednesday.
Yeah. Okay.
18th.
All right.
Yours is the 7th.
Yep.
I remember birthdays.
I know. You remember everything. I can say that.
He's like
The
an
way
elephant.
you can detail a race that happened 30 years ago,
Yeah.
lap by lap, blows me away.
I remember getting beat,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember winning them on the last lap,
Yeah.
but I really remember when I got beat on the last lap.
Right.
I really do remember that. I just remember what could I have done different,
Right.
you know. So
So in '63, you actually drove your race car to the track to
Yeah.
get it there.
Yeah.
And then later '60s,
wasn't supposed to.
you're using a tow bar to get
Yeah.
your car to the track,
yeah,
right?
you want to hear about Mama getting a ticket?
Yeah, let's hear about that.
Oh, I don't remember where. I think we was coming from. No, we was coming from the track in Bedford down
Eureka.
Eureka. We was coming from Eureka,
Okay.
and I had no driver's license. That's one of the reasons I started racing.
Yeah.
I liked to drive and couldn't, so
Okay.
I thought, well, I can drive on that dirt track, and I don't need no license.
Yeah.
So anyway, we left Eureka, and she's sitting behind the wheel, and I'm sitting in the middle driving. So we're coming through Old Liddick. There's only one stoplight in Old Liddick. We didn't run a light or nothing, but the tail light went out on the race car.
Okay.
So here comes Jim Graves.
Yeah.
Pulled me over.
Probably
Pulls her over.
the only sheriff in town, right?
Oh, he's state cop.
State.
Oh, state boy.
Oh
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's still alive. I think
Okay.
Jim Graves, he's a good guy. Sorry, Jim.
Yeah. Right.
So anyway, red lights come on, and he come up there and he said, "Who's driving this car?" I said, "Well, who's sitting behind the wheel?"
Mm-hmm.
Well, he said, "Yeah, but she ain't driving. You are."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "I'm not. I ain't got no license." He said, "I know that." He knew it.
He knew what was going
He
on.
knew what was going on.
Yeah.
But then you could go straight on through Old Liddick, and you can
On up-
go through Needmore and
Yeah.
go on. Where did we live then? On Clark Street?
Ellettsville.
Oh yeah, we lived in Ellisville.
So you guys were coming from Bedford going home,
We were
Yeah.
going. Yeah, we
Yeah.
were going home.
which is a pretty good haul with a car, pulling a car with a tow bar.
Oh, she done a good job.
Yeah.
Oh, kept that thing straight.
That's great. So you went from pulling them or driving them to the track using tow bars, and then you graduated to a trailer,
Got a
in
trailer.
the '70s,
Oh
probably.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure that made life a lot easier getting them to the track.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
That was after the school bus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've heard
we-
about the bus.
Yeah, we had two buses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys cut one up and made it to where the car would sit on the
On the back of it,
and then
yeah.
the other one was where the car would go inside, right?
Right inside the back of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was pretty neat.
Yeah,
You
made it good for hauling parts and
Yeah.
tires and
yeah.
all the things
Yeah.
you needed. Plus, everybody you had with you.
One year I remember very well.
Yeah.
We took the bus that he cut the back off and went to Eldora
Mm-hmm.
in the fall.
Yeah.
It was cold, and there was about 20 of us inside there, asleep on the floor. And if one moved, everybody moved.
Sequence.
Well, you started running. I know you've driven for a lot of different guys, as far as
Yeah.
Fred King,
Yeah.
Rayburn. You know, everybody knows CJ.
Yeah. Not as well as I do.
So, at what point did you go from running your own stuff to racing
79.
79?
78, the last of 78, Noel Witzer was driving for Fred King, and he had number 30 on the car, and it was a Gigolo. orange, like my old '64 Chevy,
Yeah.
and 52 Chevy and '64.
Okay.
So the first night I drove to Brownstown, I run second. Already won, I run second. And we went to a track down southern Indiana, and I won with the car. Then we go to Terre Haute, and we had to change motors, and Rayburn set the timing, and he didn't get it locked down good enough.
Okay.
So we're out there racing in the feature. And I'm running pretty good, and come up behind a lap car, and some way, I don't know how it happened, his starter fell off his car. Well, it come through the windshield.
Yeah.
Yeah, the armature housing,
Yeah.
about that big around,
Right.
come through and hit me in the hand, and the timing was slowing down, and my hand was bleeding, but I finished the race. I run third.
If I'm not mistaken, I remember this story, and on a caution come out, you were shaking your hand out the window.
Yeah, and your dad, I think your dad gave me a
He
a
walked
towel.
up to the wall while you was under caution and had a rag and handed out, and you grabbed that coming around under caution, wrapped your hand up. Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought so.
Yeah. We ended up third in the race.
Yeah.
And the timing was really retarded on that thing, man. Slower and slower, but
And that was before you had starter bars.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there wasn't no bars in there.
Yeah.
It came right in there and hit me in the hand. It just wanted to tear my hand off, but I was like, I didn't have no stitches or nothing. It just cut real bad, you know.
Yeah. And didn't one time something actually come through your visor, get you in the nose?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thought you got
a rock.
Was it a rock?
Yeah, that was whitewater.
Yeah.
That was in 81. 81. I was
Yeah.
driving
we-
Charlie Reed's car.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
We come down, he come home
she wasn't there.
at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm in bed asleep, and I hear somebody coming up the stairs because we had upstairs in the house, and all of a sudden I see this shadow with a big white.
Oh, all wrapped up.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. He said, "Don't get scared. It's just me, honey." I said, "What happened?" He said, "Oh, I got 13 stitches." He was begging him to put another one in.
Or take one
Yeah,
out.
right.
I said,
Yeah.
don't put.
Yeah.
It broke my nose. Black. Both of my eyes were black. Black my eyes. So that was on a Friday night, and Charlie wanted to race at Campbellsville, Kentucky, Saturday night. I said, "Oh my goodness!" I tried to put my helmet on.
Couldn't get it on.
Well, I had to pull it apart to get it on before we ever left. And when I got to the racetrack, I had to do the same thing. I could get it on.
Yeah.
Motor blowed up, and I was happy. It
Right.
blowed up, hot lapping. My goodness.
You needed some rest.
Yeah,
You needed to recoup.
yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
Well, you've had some. I know you've had some bad nights at the track.
Oh,
I remember being pretty young. I don't know what year this happened, but I know you was working under the car one night,
Oh.
and someone come through the pits hot and heavy,
Yeah.
and took out your car while it was on stands,
Yeah,
knocked the car off the stands onto you.
yeah,
And if it hadn't have been for all the guys in the pits
yeah.
to come and pick the car up, physically pick the car up,
I would have been dead.
yeah. So that was I know I remember that. Do you remember what year that
I
was?
remember what day it was.
Okay.
What are you talking about? April the 23rd of 89.
April the 23rd of 89.
I went to Campbellsville, Kentucky Saturday night and run second. And I called Fred that day and I said, "Boy, we got a good car, we need more water. It has not got enough engine in it." And it had an oil leak by the oil pan. So that's how all this happened is I got there early, naturally. Here I am early again.
Right.
Got to the pit gate and the van wouldn't start. So they pulled me in where they wanted me to park. And I parked, unloaded. Me and her and Steve Stephen, and Steve Carter. And we unloaded the car, and I jacked it up on the left side, and I was laying on my back with a tube of silicone trying to fix that oil leak, and next thing I knew, the lights went out.
Yeah.
Somebody shut the lights out.
Right.
Man, I didn't know anything until we was going down the highway in the ambulance after. I mean, I didn't know anything,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
They knew something was wrong, the drivers did, because Stephen was leaning over the fender trying to
Yeah.
pull it up.
Yeah.
And Larry Bland, he used to drive a sprint car. He come over, and I come out of the back of the van, and he put his arm around me, and he said, "It's going to be okay, Bundy. It'll be okay." And there was 4 guys that come over and raised that car up and pulled him out from under it,
Yeah.
and he wasn't breathing.
Right. Yeah, it squished you.
Oh, it did. And
Somebody was with me that day.
Yeah. Man above was definitely watching over you.
yeah, especially because the fire department wasn't there. There was no
No,
ambulance.
the ambulance wasn't there.
Yeah.
So I was just praising the Lord.
What was the problem with the car that came in and
The
hit you?
sprint car.
Just got out of control and just
I don't know what he was
nobody
doing.
ever figured
It
that
was
one
a-
out.
He had never driven a sprint car before.
I
He
see.
drove a bomber the week before, or
Yeah.
the year before.
I see.
This
And
was the first race at Hobstadt in '89.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, first
yeah.
race.
But the worst part about it was after that guy come in there and hit the car and knocked it off of the jack stands and the jack, he got out of his car and run the other way.
Wow.
Yeah.
A nice guy.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he had to go to the bathroom.
Probably.
He may have to. But Jim Curry's crew and Mike Jewell's crew
Yeah.
is who picked the car up.
Well,
I mean, that's what I was told,
right.
you know.
Yeah.
And one of Mike Jewell's crewmen drove me up under the
So
car.
you guys were probably parked next to one another.
We was pretty close.
Yeah.
We was pretty close. But
That's 2 legends right there.
I-
Jim Curry and Mike Jewell.
I drove it. Yeah, I drove the race car back home that night. That same night, and and I was sore. But the next morning's when I was sore.
Yeah.
I
I
could-
think I remember being at your house the next morning. It was the
couldn't
first I think it was a Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we came over. I had to be 6, and I remember.
Yeah.
It was bad.
I couldn't get out of bed. I had to roll out of bed. Anyway, that's one of the bad things.
Yeah.
Well, I had a few of them.
Oh yeah.
I had a few.
Right. But
I had one in 77. And after the car that Chapman built, Tony built me a car. 57 Chevy frame, and we put a Vega body on it. Right away, it was illegal. It was too
right.
fast.
Right.
So we put a Camaro. We took the Vega body off and put a Camaro body on it. And Chandler, I think it was Chandler. Ain't that what it was, honey? And coming off of 2, I'm taking the lead, and the next thing you know, I'm upside down. I mean, tore that car all to pieces.
That was the big wreck.
Okay. That's the
Yeah.
one we've got the pictures of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that week, her and Tony built me another car. Yeah.
Because when he got out of that car, he swore up and down he'd never drive again.
He was done.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad they fixed that car.
Yeah.
He went to work on Monday morning, and Tony come home from school that evening.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, Tony, you might as well go down there to the garage and start on
Get
that car.
It was down there at Jack Emmons where it was.
Yeah.
That's where the car was.
Yeah, you worked with Jack a long time there.
17 years.
Yeah. And you know, the list is pretty long of guys that you worked with as far as racing as far as Rayburn and you know, we talked about Fred King.
Fred King.
Them guys, they were a big support in your racing.
Yeah.
At what point were you going to Australia? What was the first year?
80.
80?
1980. See, what happened was I was at Rayburn's, and here's Rayburn and these guys into it. He of course, that didn't surprise me.
Yeah, right.
You know, so
Rayburn's probably telling them how it was.
yeah,
They were probably
and there
arguing
were
back.
3 of them.
Yeah.
Joe Madsen, Carl Jeffries, Carl Jeffries, and I don't remember the other guy's name.
His name was Pat something.
Yeah, well, anyway. So I'm listening, you know, and I ain't liking what I'm hearing. These poor guys are from, where's these guys from? You know, they sound funny.
Right.
So I told them, Rayburn went in the house, and I said, hey, I got a 2-story house 65 miles from here. If you guys don't have no place to go, you can you stay at my house.
Yeah.
I didn't know them guys.
Right.
So they come down and stayed.
Yeah.
And
turns out they're all Aussies.
Yeah. all Aussies.
Yeah.
And so while I was there, in the meantime, I was driving for Butch Tucker and
T3 car.
a T3 car, and we got into it because it was hot one day, and he didn't want to turn the fan on, and he told me, "Go what anyway."
Yeah.
I went home.
Yeah.
So I get to Brownstown, and now these guys are from Australia are with me. See.
Okay.
Okay, so I go to Brownstown. Rayburn said, "Where's your car?" I said, "I don't have one." Well, I got one you drive. This is on a Saturday night, and I said, "Who's supposed to be driving that car, Rayburn?" "Oh, Pat Patrick." I said, "I'm not going to take Pat Patrick's ride." He said, "Well, I'll tell you what. Sunday morning we're going to build you a car."
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, okay, okay." So them guys went up
And help Rayburn build a car.
Yeah, and
That week.
That week. Didn't get it done till Friday. So, but they had a race on Wednesday, and the car that Pat drove.
Yep.
Saturday, Wednesday night, Paragon, I drove it.
Okay.
And won the race, all-star race.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably paid pretty good.
It was $3,000.
Yeah, the all-star races, they always
and Rayburn
paid good,
didn't take no money.
Yeah.
He didn't want the money, he just wanted to win.
Right.
Because he couldn't outrun that Tucker car.
Yeah.
And now I got in the Rayburn car.
Now you're winning against
Now
the
it ain't
Tucker car.
Now it ain't the car.
Yeah.
Oh, no. No.
Yeah.
And but with the first time I drove, we got in. See, I'd been driving these cars since 79. 79, 80, 81. And this is 81.
Yeah.
And Fred sold his car in 81, and I started driving that Tucker car. And
So was the Tucker car a Rayburn?
No.
No.
It was a Tucker car.
It was okay.
Bush
So
built it.
he built his own car.
He built his own
Okay.
car. He'd been working for Rayburn, did it? His car was different. It had a real narrow rear end in it, real narrow front end.
Yeah.
It was a narrow car,
Okay.
but that thing was fast.
Yeah.
It was a good car. I was leading the All-Star points with that car in 81
When you switched over
when
to
I switched over to Rayburn, then I won in that Rayburn car.
Yeah.
So, and then he had my car ready for Friday night, and we went to Florence. Something happened to it. I don't remember. First night,
Yeah.
But Rayburn gave me a car, a van,
Yeah.
a trailer, spare motor, all the spares.
He wanted you to be able to go out and run well and
yeah.
represent him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's what you guys, that's where it all started
That's where it started.
as far as
Yeah.
you and Rayburn.
Well, Rayburn with Fred King. See, that was a Rayburn car.
Okay.
In 79, 80, and 81. Then I started. We went to Florida with the King car,
Yeah.
and I didn't know it. Barnett come down and he said, "I bought that car."
Yeah.
Fred didn't tell me.
Yeah.
I said, "Well, if you bought it, I might as well take it home with you."
Yeah.
So, and then I started driving Tucker car, and then anyway.
Okay.
But that Rayburn car was so good that I ran that thing 22 times, won 18 features with it.
That's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good car. It wasn't just the best car I ever had, because I've had some good cars.
Yeah.
But that was one of the best.
Well, you've had so many cars that I know there's no way I can grasp how many
Yeah.
race cars you've drove.
I got the
I
first.
mean, how many races you've competed in would be
I
an
don't-
amazing
I don't
number to have, but no one knows.
No, I don't know.
Nobody knows.
I don't know.
But I know you've ran as much as you could every weekend. Every week you were racing somewhere.
Yeah.
And you'd run here all summer long. Winter would roll around.
Go to Australia.
You'd go over to Australia.
I did that 11 years.
You guys would take your cars and just ship them on the
I
ships,
did
right?
in 83.
Yeah.
83. I had two Rayburn cars,
Mm-hmm.
and one was red and one was green, and I shipped the red one to Australia
Yeah.
and raced it over there and done real good in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, set a lot of records with it, won
Yeah.
a lot of races with it, and this guy, we went to Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
And had a 100-lap race, and I led that thing and led it. Just wrong, left him. Had the guy that actually ended up winning, I'd done lapped him,
Yeah.
but I had a blue. It was asphalt, and they put dirt on it,
Uh-huh.
and it had something in the dirt, and it cut my right rear tire down. Of course, I was real close. I run all night, real close to the wall anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So when it went down, I just.
Ate the wall.
Yeah, the guy said, "Hey, you wrecked the wall. He hit the wall." Well, I hit the wall after the tire went flat.
Right.
But anyway,
Yeah.
this guy from Tasmania won by the car.
Mm-hmm.
His name Denzel Mead. Same name I got.
Yeah. Isn't that something?
I said,
So you sold the car.
I sold the car.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'd already, when I shipped it over, I took Steve Smith with me, which worked for Rayburn,
Mm-hmm.
and we had built a jig off that car to build other cars in Australia, Rayburn cars in Australia.
Oh, okay.
This guy's name was Cliff Brown.
Yeah.
Him and Steve built me a car.
Yeah.
And that didn't cost me nothing, see.
I see.
So I sold that one and
Yeah.
run the copy after that.
Right.
Yeah, for the rest of all the time I was there.
So that, whenever the three gentlemen that you met at Rayburn's and they come and stayed with you,
Yeah.
and now you're going over there.
The one guy told me, said that he built Rayburn cars in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
So he said,
Okay.
didn't look like a Rayburn car. And I got there. I told Mom, I said, I'm about ready to go back home.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like driving to Bedford. You know, it's 10,000 miles.
Yeah, it took probably 24, 30
24
hours.
hours to get over.
To get there.
Yeah. But everything worked out good. And
Yeah. Made a lot of friends.
Oh, yeah. I got a lot of good friends in Australia.
Yeah. They're good people.
All good people.
Yeah.
And I'll probably forget half of them. Des Disney,
Yeah.
Ross DeCastri, who else?
Ralph Ranger,
Ralph Ranger, yeah, he's from
Mm-hmm.
New South
Newcastle.
Wales.
And Tony Giancola, and
A bunch.
yeah,
Cubbage.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Gary Cubbage.
Gary Cubbage.
I don't want to forget him.
No.
Oh,
He's a good man.
Oh yeah. He called me up. Oh yeah. He called me up and said, "I'm gonna send you some money."
Yeah.
I said, "What for?" He said, "I want you to come over here."
Yeah.
I said, "Keep your money." I should have said, "Okay, send it."
Yeah.
Not go. No, I wouldn't do him that way.
No, I know
I
you
wouldn't do
wouldn't.
it. No.
No, I know that.
No.
He was a pleasure to have. They come
man.
down, stayed here at our shop for last summer. You
Yeah.
remember that?
Oh yeah.
Him and Joe and the rest of the Roth guys. They, as far as the Roth Motorsports crew, they all camped out in their semi out back.
Yeah.
And I think we had 3 birthday cakes that week, or that stay.
3 birthdays.
Yeah, there was 3 birthdays going on.
How do you remember birthdays?
And
Some people
well, I
can't
don't,
remember.
but I remember eating cake.
Oh.
So, because they were the ice cream cakes.
I know some people can't even remember birthdays.
But we really enjoyed it.
You did. Mama had a birthday.
And then, of course, you got the Matsons.
Oh.
All the Matsons, right? As
Oh,
far
yeah.
as Australia,
Yeah.
you make good friends with all them guys. Joe.
Oh, yeah.
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 Because
Carrie.
Yeah.
Joe.
there's a lot of them.
Yeah. Oh, there was a bunch of guys from Tasmania. I mean, like.
List is a mile long.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I can't remember it. I'm real terrible with names anymore. I
Well,
mean, I'm just.
I've always been bad with names, so
I'm getting old. I mean, you know, I'm not no spring chicken.
no spring
anymore.
chicken anymore.
No.
Well, you know, you guys were over there racing, then you were coming home, getting the car ready to run here, and running. How many shows were you averaging in a year?
Oh, I don't know.
Hard to say.
See, we had 21 All-Star races in '83.
Yeah.
I won 7 of them. Charlie Schwartz won 7,
Yep.
and the rest of them won the other 7.
Mm-hmm.
But I had more better finishes than he did.
Yeah.
So anyway, I ended up winning. I won the All Stars in '81. Only ran it 2 years, and I won it both years I ran it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many 7 track championships at
Right.
Lincoln Park and Brownstown and Bloomington and Putmanville. Putmanville's where I had 7.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well,
I can't remember all of them.
You've been inducted into the Hall of Fame
In 2000,
in 2000.
yeah.
Uh,
No, 2003.
03.
They started it in 2000.
Okay.
I got in the 3rd year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course the old wedge car, the
Yeah,
replica,
yeah,
the one you guys redone, it ended up in a museum there
Yeah.
for a while.
yeah.
Got it back home now.
Dave Egan and Warren Gould, Bub, and me and Steven. David helped a little bit.
Yeah.
Tony was incarcerated. he couldn't help.
Yeah.
So anyway, it turned out.
It turned out great.
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
It turned out. I mean, it was.
Got to take it over to Brownstown, make some laps.
Yeah,
Had an
and-
interview with Trent Nicholas and Dan Smith from,
Yeah.
I believe he goes by Hillbilly Gorilla. He
I don't
done
know. But
a
Niffy lettered it.
yeah.
Yeah, and done a good job. See, Joe Madsen lettered that first car. That guy was a good sign writer.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had a picture of Rayburn on the left rear quarter with money falling out of his pocket.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Boy, I'd like to see
Remember
that.
that?
Yeah.
I would like to see that.
Yeah.
Probably no photos of that.
No.
Yeah.
No, ain't gonna,
Somewhere around in the vast.
There might be.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you ever come across it, I'd love to see it.
yeah.
That'd
Yeah.
be neat.
It was funny.
So you guys were racing full time.
Oh.
I mean, that's all you did. And
One year, before I took my own car to Australia, I sent a bullet car.
Yeah.
A guy bought a bullet car and we sent it over there, and I drove it over there. And good car, and it took it to Perth, Western Australia. Took it to Perth, and just blistered the field. I mean, that car was that good,
Yeah.
and
It didn't have nothing to do with the driver.
no, I think that
You
car.
always talk about the cars, how good the
Yeah.
cars were.
Oh, it was a good car.
That's good, though.
So, the first time I was over there, why, you know, I'm way out in front, and here's this great big wet spot on the racetrack. I said, well, I wonder where that come from. So I never thought nothing about it. And I kept, no, that was the second time. The first time I just run and won the feature,
Okay.
and the promoter wanted me to come back.
Yeah.
Well, this is February the 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to be home to race in Florida February the 4th.
Oh,
Of course,
wow.
there's a day difference there, you know.
Yeah.
You gain a day
Coming.
coming home.
Okay.
So, and he paid all my way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he wanted me to come back. So I come back. I went to Florida, and Jacksonville won 2. Now it's all-star races.
Yeah.
83. I won both the
Big races. You're competing against guys like Jack Boggs,
Schwartz.
Charlie
Yeah,
Schwartz.
Freddie Smith.
Big name guys.
Big name guys. And I won. I set a track record at Jacksonville, probably because I was so fresh racing
Yeah.
in Australia. See, and I come home, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I
You're
mean,
still-
I was ready to race, you
Yeah.
know. So, anyway, we won. We did okay down there. I won some money.
Mm-hmm.
I won. I think it was like $14,000 that while I was in Florida, and we
Right.
drove back home. I got on a plane and went back
Right.
to Perth.
Yeah.
Drove that same car,
Mm-hmm.
except when I drove it over there for this other guy, it had a carburetor runner. Run methanol, but it had a carburetor. I go back, it's got an injection on it.
Oh yeah.
Now it's got fuel injection on it. Even better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, now I'm driving that injection car and I see this big wet spot on the track. I never thought nothing about it. I thought, man, somebody's lost some water. Guess who it was? Me. I come in. There's about 3 or 4 laps to go.
Yeah.
Of course, the heat gauge never moved because there's no water in it.
Yeah.
So it never hurt a thing.
Yeah.
That injection kept it good and cool, and I won the race. So everything was okay.
Yeah.
Nobody was mad.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's definitely an interesting story. I've never heard all that. The fact that you could go from Australia in just a few days, be back here in the States, go to Florida,
They had the
run,
car ready.
come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then go again.
The boys had the car ready.
Jack and the boys had
Yeah.
the car ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was ready to go. You went to Florida, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she went.
Yeah, Mama used to go all the time.
What was this after Fred got shot? It was.
Yeah.
That's another story.
Yeah, that one there, that's got to be an interesting story there.
That's for another
Now we
time.
went down.
Yeah.
And what year would that have been? Would that have been '83?
I
I
have.
don't remember, but no, it wouldn't have been '83 because I was driving Fred's car. 79 or 80 or
Yeah.
81, 81 maybe. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We go down there and, in January. We went a month before because they,
Okay.
you know,
Before the show starts, before the races.
before the Florida Nationals or whatever they call them.
So you're already racing though, or you're down there just?
No, we're racing.
No.
We're down there to race.
Okay. Yeah.
Took the car. Fred, Jim Graves, Jack,
Yep.
and so they all decided they want to go to a bar they shouldn't be in,
Mm-hmm.
and all of them drinking, but me, I didn't drink.
Right.
So I'm the driver. Go back to the motel, and I'll throw the keys on the desk. Went in the bathroom, come back out. Fred's gone. Yeah, he got in the truck and left. He was drunk.
Yeah. He had to go get more.
Yeah. So
Got more.
he got in the wrong part of town.
Yeah.
So when I got out of the bathroom, he's going around the corner of the motel. I can't catch him. So I called the cops. Told them.
Yeah.
I said, so 4 o'clock, this is about
Now he knows all this, right?
This is about 2 o'clock. Yeah, he knows.
I mean, now he knows that you called the cops,
No, I never did tell him.
so he's gonna find out now.
Well, yeah. Sorry, Fred.
Yeah,
Anyway,
sorry, Fred.
so anyway, I called the cops about 2 o'clock and told them, I said, be on the lookout for this guy. You know.
Yeah.
4 o'clock in the morning, they wake me up. Mr. Godsey? I said, yeah. He said, we found your buddy.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, where's he at? Well, he's in the hospital.
Oh.
Yeah. So I go down there and they got him laying on the table. And I got this big swab. There was a
Shoved
bullet hole.
inside him.
Plumb went in here.
In and out.
In and out. They're swabbing that all out.
And this is your car owner.
This is my
Yeah.
car owner. So I don't know whether to tell this or not, what he told that cop.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey,
Be careful what you say.
anyway, yeah. Anyway, so Fred calls his secretary, and Jody Graves and his secretary come down and picks him up.
Mm-hmm.
we go racing. Freddie Smith outruns me. I run second,
Yeah.
but it's okay.
It's good memories.
Yeah.
Good. It's always good memories, but some of them are fun to look back at now and laugh
Yeah,
about. That
yeah.
maybe at the time wasn't so easy to laugh about, but you guys all made it through. So
I gotta tell you what happened after
yeah.
Fred got shot.
Uh-huh.
About a year later, we're down there somewhere in Florida, and he's pulling on something on his arm. It was the casing off of the bullet.
Is that right?
He took a pair of needle nose pliers and pulled it out.
So they didn't have it out.
No.
Ain't that something?
They left it in there.
Huh.
Maybe he done it on purpose. I don't know.
Well, that's crazy. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting story. I'm sure he's gonna watch this and laugh. You guys spent a lot of time together,
We did.
and
We did.
and I know that you guys have always been good friends, and to be able to drive for someone like him had to be a good time, and
Yeah.
you guys won a lot of races together.
Everybody thought we was probably the same age, but
Mm-hmm.
I think Fred's 71.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
he's
I know
71.
for me, I remember at one point I'd have people that thought that your last name was King because you ran the K1 car so many years.
I did.
When you see that, people just, I know it's Ray Godsey behind the wheel, but I remember in high school people thinking
Yeah.
back that car, but you and Russ Petro were
The only two.
the only two that were running his cars
Yeah.
and winning.
I drove it in 79, 80, and 81. And then he sold it in 81. Then I started driving the Tucker car, and then I drove the Rayburn car.
Yeah.
And 81, 82, and 83, I drove the 14.
Mm-hmm.
Then in 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, and 90, I drove the K1 car
Yeah.
again.
So all the way up to the 90s now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
at some point, you guys start running the wedge cars with the big Lexan side panels.
About
and
82 is when it started, but then
It just,
in 83 it was, yeah.
Some of them got carried away with the
Yeah.
Lexan.
yeah. It got a little out of control
Yeah,
real
like-
quick.
like,
yeah, that
like
one
that
right
right
there.
there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Run the wings on top.
Yeah.
Which really neat going through your photos. We found that picture of that car with that same wing,
Yeah.
and Dad still has that wing.
Yeah, he put it on what did he put that
It
thing
was on that
that little
pack
red-
truck
Yeah,
that we used
pack
to pack the track out there at Greene County
There's
back in
another-
'93.
There's another story.
Yeah, that's a long story.
We don't want to go into
Yeah.
that.
So now it's '90s. You guys are racing your own equipment at this point. Is that right? In the '90s, is that when you started running your own car, or were you still racing for like Rayburn and Fred King
Well,
back
see,
in the '90s?
in 90 I had a American made car, yeah.
Okay.
And
Because I know you've ran the Tucker, the Rayburn.
Yeah.
Drove for
Well-
Fred King, but then American Made was a big deal for you, and then
yeah, that was Fred King built that car.
yeah,
They built that car, and then when I got a Masterbuilt back.
yes, Mastersville.
Yeah, 91 I run a Masterbuilt car,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't remember who I drove for. What I drove after that.
Yeah. Because
Most of them were Masterbuilts after that.
then, as I'm a child, I'm remembering at one point you got two cars, and then
Yeah, I had.
John Gill ends up racing with you. You
Yeah,
guys kind of
John-
partner up, team up together.
Well, that's when I couldn't. That's when I got hurt.
okay.
The year I got hurt is when John drove my car.
Yeah. Oh, the year that you got smashed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 89.
So you was going to be out of the car
Yeah,
for a
I
little
couldn't.
while. You
I
couldn't
couldn't
do
race
nothing.
for a year.
A
I
whole
didn't.
year.
I didn't race for a year.
I see.
And really ironic how things happen is the first feature I won after I started racing again. Won at Hofstad.
Okay.
Same track I got
Same
hurt
track
at.
you got smashed.
Yeah, Yeah.
Wow.
Same tractor.
Well, that was a good way to come back out
Yeah.
on top then.
Yeah, it was a.
So running, John, I know he's a lot younger than you. I'm not sure how old John is.
He's
but
60.
He's 60 now?
Probably 61.
Okay, so
He's 20 years.
20
old.
years younger than you. You
Yeah.
put a guy a lot younger in your seat, and he done well.
He did.
Won-
We won the UMP Nationals that year.
Yeah,
Yeah, 89.
so it
yeah.
worked out really good for you and
Yeah.
him.
I think John won 25 features that year.
Yeah,
And then that was in 89. I ran the same car and I won 25 the next year in 90.
nice.
Not the races he did.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't run the Summer Nationals, but
Yeah,
it was a good car.
Right.
89, that was a good car.
so was that the only year that John drove your car
For
for
me,
you?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Because, as a kid, time, I look back, I don't know if it was 3 years, 1 year.
1 year.
1 year.
1 year.
Okay. And then you guys compete against each other after that.
Oh, yeah.
Or before that even, probably.
He cheated a couple times, Brownstown, and won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say we're probably
Had
all
an-
guilty of that.
He knows it. He knows it.
Yeah.
One time he had an illegal tire on,
Yeah.
and they caught him.
Yeah.
And it wanted me to just say,
It's okay.
and I did. I
Yeah.
said, that tar ain't what outrun me,
Right. That's good.
And another time, let's see, what was it? I forget what it was the next time. Oh, 20-pound light.
Yeah.
He won the race. I run second.
Mm-hmm.
And I said,
Yeah.
that
No
I
big
wouldn't have
deal.
won anyway.
Right.
So
That 20 pounds ain't going to change
20
it.
pounds ain't going to beat you.
Yeah.
No, they make big deal out of 20 pounds like Eldora and places.
Mm-hmm.
That,
Speaking of Eldora, which year was the World 100 where you led? I can't.
it's a year Purvis won, I think 84.
84.
It was either 84 or 85. I think 84.
Yeah, you led.
I led it.
It was,
It seemed like 95 laps.
yeah,
Wasn't that many.
but it was several.
It was Sunday afternoon race.
Yeah,
There wasn't nobody going to pass me, and then it burned the pistons, so
yeah.
I had to pull in.
That'd have been a nice one to have had in the books.
Yeah.
A World 100 victory.
That would have been good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you've won big races all over. You've
Yeah.
won so many that there was no sense in keeping count.
No.
You didn't keep track. Trophies were just
Mamaw did. Mamaw kept track.
no. Trophies were just everywhere.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid coming in the house and just you were giving them to little kids and
I did.
people in the stands and giving them to sick kids and
Yeah.
sick people
Yeah.
in the hospitals and that was really cool to be able to see you do that. And I know you've given a lot of them away, but
Yeah.
you still have
I
a
still,
bunch.
Yeah, I still got a bunch.
So I know
You can
you,
have some of them
Yeah,
if you want them.
I'm
You can
gonna-
have them all. I don't care.
yeah, I need to stop by and get some. I used to have one, but I don't have it anymore.
It burned up,
It
didn't
burned
it?
up my fire. Yeah, I lost a lot of.
That was a hot trophy.
I had some of your old body panels that were actually fiberglass cars and stuff in that garage, and I lost all that memorabilia stuff. Like I was telling you, that helmet you had back in the 80s was in there.
Yeah.
Things that you can never replace are gone, and
Yeah.
that was a big deal. So, but I do still have your uniforms. I was telling you about Saturday. I'm gonna
I
get you
got
to
a hat
sign
for one.
those. Yeah, I seen that. But so as you getting older in your career, now it's getting mid to late 90s. Some of the boys are starting to race.
Yeah. Well,
Tony,
Tony started when he was
pretty young.
16,
yeah,
maybe 16.
I don't know. Stephen was 16.
Stephen was 16.
yeah. I know Dad was in his 30s.
Yeah.
And
he
I'm not
started
sure
late.
about Edgar. I don't know how old he was.
Who's that?
I don't know how old David was whenever he started.
Oh, David. Oh. I think I remember that guy. I'm not really sure.
Oh, me.
Well, they were all racing at one point, and as a kid coming to the track, I was pretty young still, 10, 12 years old kind of age frame, and
Yeah.
you were all there with all your cars. I still remember when each one of you had a car, and then Joe started racing, and
Yeah.
then I was right there behind Joe.
Yeah.
So it wasn't long.
Now we got a bunch
Now
of
we
them.
were all there
Yeah.
running. So for
Too
me,
many Godseys.
for me, it was good memories, and no place I'd rather be than at the dirt track with you guys. And you know, you taught us all a lot, and that's at the track and out here in the
I
real
hope
world.
I taught you to be honest.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's no doubt
Good.
about that.
Good.
Um,
Somebody, if I lie to you and steal, they'll do anything.
Yeah.
And I never did like that.
yeah,
Mammals won't say something.
Yeah.
yeah,
Papa said, you don't never sneak into the races.
hmm
You always make sure everybody with you is
Yeah.
paid for.
right.
Because if you do sneak in,
It'll come back and get
Oh,
you.
yeah.
exactly.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and you guys would have been able to have done that quite easily back then because you always had pretty nice haulers.
Yeah.
I know growing up, you had, at that point, Mike, when I was a kid, you had the old Pete Parker trailer.
Yeah.
And the real nice box truck that you
Yeah.
could have the parts in and had real nice carpet. Mama always kept that thing looking
I
sharp
know.
on the inside.
And the trailer.
I still remember the little red hard candies and the little yellow hard candy, you know, coming over on a Sunday and wash day, and we was all out there and cleaning the car and trying to sneak in the box truck without making any dirt marks to get more candy, you know.
That's something you got in trouble about. And it wasn't you.
Yeah. But no, it's all been a blast. But the list of people that you could thank, I know it's long.
Oh,
I know it's really long.
we'd be
but
here an hour.
We would. Another hour, wouldn't we?
Yeah, we'd be here
But,
an hour.
you know, I want to thank everyone that helped you with your career in racing. I mean, everyone we've talked about and everybody that's helped you over the years is, you know.
There's people helped me that, I mean, just you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
I mean, you would, like Cubbage.
Yeah. Right.
Come all the way from Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a good worker too.
Oh, man.
And
Oh,
how
yeah.
old's Cubbage now?
I think he's 71.
Yeah.
I
And
think.
still works harder than most boys that are in their 20s.
Yeah.
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 He's a good man.
Oh,
Hopefully he can come back this summer and spend some more time with us.
yeah. Yeah.
I know he went to the races with me up to Paragon one night this past summer, and
Yeah.
I can't remember how we finished, but I wish I could have got a win while he was here with us. But he's a good man, and he enjoys the sport just as much as we all do, and
Yeah.
I enjoyed having him here. He's always welcome here at our shop, I can say that.
He knows he's welcome in my house.
Yeah,
First time he came over, why, I knew him over there, and he came over, and him and his wife were on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. He calls me up and he said, hey, Ray, where you live at? And I said, well, where you at?
mm-hmm.
He said, I'm at 5th and Lincoln at a laundromat.
He was close.
I said, just come out the door.
Yeah,
I'll be right there in 2 minutes.
nice. There you go.
Yeah.
That's great.
I just went out the front door and went through the backyard, and
Yeah.
he said, where you live at? I said, just
Right
over
here.
Right over
Yeah.
here.
If the car would have been running,
Yeah.
he would have known where. That's what you should have done. Just start the car. He would have come running.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
See, we stayed with Ross Nicastri in Australia, Ross and Jenny, and I got a dog bite while I was there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Ross's dog.
Ross
Got a hold of you, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I won't tell you where.
Oh.
And let's see, who else we stayed with? Richard
Richard.
and Des Disney.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
stayed with. I mean, we didn't have a problem staying with people.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody wanted us to stay with them.
Just a lot of good people.
Yeah.
Over there.
Oh yeah.
I've always wanted to make that trip and go
We-
over and spend some time.
We
but,
we stayed at Denver
Still not got it
Meads.
done.
Yeah. You need to do it.
Yeah, maybe one time. I know Joe tried to get me to go a few years ago with him, and it just schedules didn't work out. You got to be able to take some time off to get away for that long.
Well, the last time I went was in '98, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
'98. Me and Mama and Joe went.
Right.
Had a good time.
Yeah.
Had a good time.
Well, Joe's done well over there these last few years, and look forward to seeing him going back and
Yeah.
doing it some more.
I went racing with him last weekend, and
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, he's a good person to be around. He's
Yeah.
a good person.
he is.
He is. He's a good person.
I know.
Good, honest person.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, and a good race car driver.
Yep.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And Abby.
Oh,
and the
yeah.
kids.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. He's done a good job with his kids, and you're right. Abby's a good woman for him. She's supported him just like Mama
Mamaw
supported
did me.
you all those years. And
I don't know how she done it.
it takes that because any woman to put up with a race car driver's got to be a good woman because
Exactly
it's
right.
It's a lot of work and a lot of money, and you don't get to see each other very much unless you're going to spend that time in the
I wouldn't trade her
shop.
for anything.
Right.
You guys quit it. My head's getting blank.
Well, I think that pretty well wraps up.
Did we miss anything?
I'm sure we could sit here and talk for another 4 hours, but I'm thinking about Mamaw, how she's probably ready to get home and get rested.
Probably. She's rubbing her leg now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We was going to try to shoot for 45 minutes, and I know we're over an hour.
I don't know how.
So
I don't know.
we've been talking for over an hour now, so. But
It went kind of fast.
yeah, it
went
does.
fast.
It does. When you sit down and start talking about racing, it
Yeah.
goes really quick.
Yeah.
And I just want to thank you both for coming out tonight and talking with us.
I got to mention Aubrey Egan.
Yeah,
That
go
girl
ahead. Mm-hmm.
is a race car driver.
Yes, she is.
She is a race car driver.
I agree.
I'm telling you. Allie was good.
Yes, she was.
Allie was good.
That's right.
I don't know where they get that from. They told me.
You don't think it had anything to do with their dad?
I don't know. I don't know. You know what Dave's number was, don't you?
Well,
68.
68.
Yeah.
That's right.
I never got to watch him that much, but I think he was pretty good.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, he was.
I know one thing: he's a good person,
He is.
and
He's a good man.
That means a lot to me.
Yep.
If I need anything, all I got to do is ask him.
Dave's always there to help
Dave's a-
everybody.
Dave, he will help you. Yes.
Yep. He's
And
a good man. He's helped me out a lot.
Me and you both.
Yep.
Me and you both. And there's probably 95 other people I could mention
Oh, I know.
that helped me,
Yeah.
Like
You know.
Lauren.
and I appreciate every one of them.
I know that.
And the fans.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got a
Fans.
lot of fans. Still today, there's going to be a lot of people watch this video. And I know when things get posted on wedge cars, there's a lot of stuff on Facebook that you probably don't even know that much about.
No, I don't
but
get. I'm not.
It's hard for myself to keep up with it, but pictures of your cars pop up under Indiana Dirt Legends, and also stuff with wedge cars. And I know all the good people over in Australia will enjoy this, and you've definitely done really well behind the wheel.
I never met a bad Aussie.
Yeah,
Never met a bad Aussie. I'm telling you, I never.
yeah, and you met a lot. So
Well, there was one guy I had a lot of problems with, and she knows it. And I ain't saying.
Quit swimming.
yeah, he's making you dizzy, ain't he?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure everybody will enjoy the video, so it'll give them a little idea how you got your start back in '63 and
See,
taking the family
I re-
car and
I re-
turning it into the first race car, and the rest was history.
I remember where I come from.
Yeah,
I remember my dad,
yeah. You lost your dad at the age of 14.
15
You were 15.
or 15.
Yeah,
He died in 54,
yeah.
and it's hard to talk about.
I understand. I'm sure it is. I was very blessed, still am today, to have my father and my grandfather.
Yeah.
So one time there was, when my boys were racing them junior sprint cars, there was 4 generations at that racetrack.
Yeah.
And that was great times. I know my boys were young when we started them out. And I had quit racing there for a while when they got started. And And then, we got back into doing it, but maybe one day one of them will jump back in the seat. But
Be good, wouldn't it?
yeah,
Be good.
But we got 3 generations of race car drivers for sure, as
Yeah.
far as in our family. So I know them 4th generations. They'll be getting back in them cars.
I think.
I don't know if Grant's ever going to do it or not, but I got a feeling one of my boys he's wanting to do it. So I've just been trying to figure out the right time.
I think I know which one it is.
Yeah, the one that likes to go so much.
Yeah.
But
What was you gonna say?
yeah, go ahead, Mamaw.
I was going to say it'll probably be your daughter.
Oh, well, hey, you never know. Look at the Egan's, right?
Yeah.
They both done
Yeah.
a great job. Yeah, and you just never know. She might
Yeah.
decide she wants to get in something one day.
I know all 5 of ours did.
Yeah.
Including Teresa.
Yeah.
She drove one.
Mm-hmm.
Mammo drove once.
Yeah.
Oh, that was exciting.
Oh, it was really exciting.
She couldn't reach the gas pedal.
Yeah. Well, I remember her having trouble reaching the gas pedal in them big old Lincolns she used to drive.
Yeah.
She'd always have that pillow sitting in the front seat.
Yeah.
Well, again, I thank you both for coming over to the shop today and sitting down and talking with us. I know a lot of people enjoy the video, and I'm going to wrap this up, and we'll shut it down. I know it's probably rolling over hour and 10-minute mark now. So.
You go right ahead.
All right. Well, this concludes this episode of Off the Track. If you have not already, please be sure and like us on Facebook. You can look us up on bluechiptech.net. Really struggling here. I'm thinking about something else, and I'm trying to finish this up. But anyways, you can also reach us at 812-807-7050 for all your engine needs. And we appreciate everyone viewing this episode. Please be sure and check in next Wednesday night for another episode. Thank you and have a great evening.